There are many different words that mean add, subtract, multiply, and divide. The answer when you add is called the sum. But in word problems, you might see the words more, or total, or combine, or together. For subtraction, the answer when you subtract is the difference. You might also see things like less, take away, fewer than, remaining. Anything that means a number is getting smaller, or maybe you're trying to find the leftovers. This is an E, remaining, leftover. All right, for multiplication, the answer to a multiplication problem is the product. You might see the word of or per, depending on the situation, so be careful with those. You might see for each or for every. It really depends on the context you're in, so just pay attention. The answer when you divide is called the quotient. And you might see words like separate or divide into equal parts, or anything that means you are dividing things up equally. So let's find some key words in these examples. We want the distance remaining for a runner after m miles of a 26.2 mile marathon. So I circled all the important words. When I see remaining, I'm already thinking it's a subtraction sign, and this is after running m miles of a 26.2 mile race. So that means that when you start the race, you have to go 26.2 miles, and the distance that will be remaining is what's left when you take away m. So that's it. For B, let's see if you can find the important words. Circle them and then write an expression. Next, we have a couple vocab words, just to refresh. When you see the word variable, it means it's a symbol or letter that represents a number. The most common one we use is X. We could use A or T or something else depending on the situation, but normally we use X. When you see a term, that means that we're talking about either a number or a variable, a letter, or the product of the two. Product means that they're going to be stuck together by multiplication, like 2x or 3ab. Or it could just be a plain number. It could be just a 4. The bottom line is a term is something that's stuck together. We don't write the multiplication signs, but we know they're there. A coefficient is the number, so in your blank, fill in the number in front of a term. So if we look at the above examples, the coefficient in the term 2x would be the 2. The coefficient in the term 3ab would be the 3. If we just had a plain x, the coefficient in front of that would be the number that we usually don't write, but we know it's there. It would be a 1. So whether or not it's written, whatever's in front of the letter, that's always the coefficient. Last, an algebraic expression. It contains one or more terms, and they've been added or subtracted or maybe sometimes divided. So if we took a couple of those terms and added them up, like 2x plus 4, that would be an expression. Or maybe we have a plus b. That'd be an expression. Or it could have been a minus b. So the next thing we will do is evaluate them. To evaluate, we are just going to plug in whatever numbers they tell us each letter equals, and then follow the order of operations. And you remember the order of operations is PEMDAS. P-E-M-D-A-S, where parentheses go first from the inside out, then exponents, Then multiplication and division from right to left. From left to right, whichever comes first. And then addition and subtraction from left to right. So let's try it. We are going to plug in 4 for x, and whenever I plug a number in, no matter what, I'm going to plug the number in inside parentheses. So I'm going to put parentheses around the numbers just so I remember. So for x, I'm going to put in the 4, and then I'll put 3 times the number for x, which is 4, times the number for y, which is 7. And see how since I put the numbers inside parentheses, it's great because we remember that we need to multiply. Then I'll copy the -2, and now we need to plug in the number for y again, which is 7. Now that we have that written down, we can follow PEMDAS. So anything inside parentheses that needs to be simplified. We have one number inside, one number inside, one number, and one number. We can't simplify those any further. So we're going to move on to exponents. We do not have any little tiny numbers up high, but we do have multiplication and division. So we are going to multiply 3 times 4 times 7. When we do that, first I'm just going to copy that 4 in front. We're going to get 12 times 7, which is 84. And then we have a minus sign, and then we're going to multiply 2 times 7. That's 14. Now we're going to add and subtract from left to right. So we're going to say 4 plus 84, that's 88, and then we're going to subtract 14, which leaves us with a final answer of 74. Go ahead and try to B, plug in the 6 for B and the 2 for Z. Hopefully the first step of your problem looks like this. If you plugged everything in inside parentheses, then this is what it should look like, and you'll be able to move through PEMDAS. This is what your problem should look like after you take care of the exponents, so by squaring the 6 and squaring that 2. And hopefully you can take it from there to get the final answer. The last thing we'll do is combine like terms. Like terms have the same variables, so the exact same letters, with the exact same exponents. So 2x and 5x, same letter, same exponent. Or a squared and 5a squared. You could have as many letters as you wanted, maybe ABC and 8ABC. Same letters, same exponents. So if you see something that says simplify, all you're going to do is combine all the like terms from left to right by adding and subtracting, or whatever it says to do, or whatever order of operations you need to do. So let's look in example A. We have x squared right here. Do we have any other letter x's with a square on them? We do right here. See this with the 7? I'm going to circle it and pay attention to what I've just circled. I circled the coefficient, 7, and I circled the sign in front of it, because that plus sign goes with that 7. Because when I combine it with the x squared, the coefficient of the x squared would be a 1. I know exactly what I need to do. I need to add 1x squared and 7x squared. All together, when you add 8 and 7, it gives you 8x squareds. You don't have to mess with the letter and the exponent, you just change the coefficient. Then we look for other like terms. I have 5 x's here, but I don't have any other plain x's. So that 5x will stay there. And the 2y, there's no other y's. So those will just stay the way they were. And this is as simple as it gets. That's the final answer. For 3b, go ahead and try it, and then I might come back and give you a hint in a second. Hopefully you noticed the first step was to distribute the b to inside the parentheses. So it'd be 5a squared b minus 2 times a times b. Then you'd recopy the rest of it and then look for like terms. My last hint to you is we have 5a to the second b. We have a to the second b right here, and I'm going to circle the 11 and the negative sign that goes in front of it. And you can do the rest.